It's an absolute pleasure to welcome my very special guest here in our interview room, Mr. Michael Evans. An accomplished athlete, whilst studying at Oxford University, he rowed stroke oar for Oxford in the world's best-known annual boat race, which first took place back in 1829, the Oxford and Cambridge University boat race, where he defeated Cambridge 2 years in a row. He's also an Olympian and an Olympic gold medal winner, rowing for Canada in the men's eights in the 1984 Summer Games. A former investment banker with a long and distinguished career at Goldman Sachs, where Mike was chairman of Goldman Sachs Asia. Mike has served on the board of Alibaba since 2014, is president of Alibaba Group and the key player in Alibaba's strategies, including Alibaba's international strategy. Alibaba is in a very select club of global brands. It is in the top 10 of the BrandZ top 100 most valuable global brands, 7th place last year, and has improved its value and ranking position in 2020. But by how much will be revealed a bit later. I had a wide-ranging discussion with Mike. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
David, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mike, what has Alibaba learned over the course of the last hectic few months that's really going to help accelerate the pace of digital retail innovation and transformation that we've already seen start to happen?
Well, it's been a fascinating several months, not just for us, but I'm sure for everyone. But we're doing things today that we had not anticipated before COVID-19. And all the things we're doing are designed to help our brands and our consumers. So starting with the brands, it's clear that this concept that we call new retail, which is the digitization of the full retail value chain. People understand the online piece pretty well, but it's the digitization of the offline store that allows a store to actually be open even when it's closed, because it acts as a fulfillment center. And that has completely changed the way that brands are thinking about the digitization of their offline resources and infrastructure. Many of our brands in China had already started that process, particularly in the food category. So Hema and Fresh Hippo and Auchan and RT Mart and those assets. But now across the categories, people are realizing that new retail and the digitization, the full digitization of the retail value chain is going to be very, very important.
Now, Alibaba's mission, Mike, has always been, I suppose, in one form or another, to make it easy to do business anywhere. Looking into your crystal ball, how do you see that manifest itself further in the coming years?
Well, we have a giant ecosystem of businesses. And so when people look at Alibaba, and particularly the people that are consumers, they view it very much as a lifestyle app. And so it isn't just about coming and buying things, the traditional e-commerce business. We also have a digital media and entertainment business. We have local services, everything from grocery shopping and movie theaters and those types of opportunities. So we want the consumer to we want to make it easy for the consumer to find everything that they would consider to be important in their lifestyle, in addition to shopping, okay? So that they can come to one place and live there. And we see it in the statistics, which is our average consumers are spending about 25 minutes a day on our platform, opening the app about 8 times. And they're looking at different things, sometimes shopping, sometimes entertainment, sometimes live streaming, sometimes something very specific that they want to do for a local services opportunity, or just browsing and enjoying themselves.
You have sort of a unique perspective as a former investment banker, as somebody who understands both the finance of the world and as a businessman as well. What do you think the role of both companies and governments needs to be over the course of the next, 2 years to help stimulate demand and help everybody grow the economy?
From a brand standpoint, I think that technologies that exist in certain parts of the world don't in other parts of the world. And therefore, how do you, from an IT and from a technology and product standpoint, how do you actually develop that integrate that into your ecosystem so that you don't have multiple platforms, technology and IT platforms running in different markets around the world? But they've got to work to try and harmonize those and put them together. Otherwise, it will be very, very difficult to run your business globally and take advantage of big markets like China. And I think from a government perspective, they are on the cutting edge of a variety of issues, whether it's data or technology regulation. There is a whole series of policies and regulations that need to be clarified, because you see different rules in different countries or even different parts of the world, okay, which make it very complex for corporates to operate global businesses.
Now, Mike, we've all learned a lot about our individual businesses over the course of the last hectic few months. But what have you learned about yourself that you didn't know beforehand?
I've learned that it's possible to, it's an interesting question. I've learned that it's possible to do a heck of a lot of work without ever getting on a plane. And prior to COVID-19, I was getting on the plane all the time. And while I miss all my colleagues in China and all over the world where we're developing businesses, what I've realized is that technologies like this and others that allow us to come together digitally and virtually are actually very empowering, quite effective. And we don't see the loss of productivity. We see enhanced productivity, and actually a lot of people happier to have more of a balance between what they're doing at home and the hopeful prospect of one day they may get back in their office. So that's been a real learning experience and a balancing act, I might add.
Sure. Well, I have a horrible confession to make. I'm, a bit like you. I was a constant traveller. I'm not even certain I know where my passport is at the moment, which is a very new feeling for me. One very last question, Mike, because actually there are not many people in the world you can actually ask this question to, or you could ask it, but you won't get the right an answer from somebody who's experienced it. We, over the course of the last 3-4 months, have gone from a physical world to an extent to a big sort of virtual world. We've experienced virtual concerts and virtual drink sessions with our friends and virtual theatre. The physical, though, is still very important. The biggest physical event in the world that's clearly been postponed is the Olympics. You are, one of the few people that has an Olympic gold medal. When you were in that physical environment, when somebody was putting that gold medal around your neck, and you were looking at the crowds, what was going through your mind, and how did you physically feel in that physical environment?
I'll tell you exactly that's the first time anybody's asked me that question, but I'll tell you what was going through my mind was I had a great rowing coach by the name of Neil Campbell, and he was a legend in Canadian rowing. And Neil always used to say, think big, dream big, work hard. And when we were standing on that podium, we were looking at that Canadian flag as it had been folded for so long because Canada hadn't won a gold medal. You could see all the creases in it. But as the wind basically started to make it flutter, I remembered exactly what he said, because he was right. Think big, dream big, work hard. It pays off, and it did.
Well, I think that's a fantastic way of leaving this, Mike, especially as we all have to face those big challenges ahead, and I think that's a great mentality to have. Mike Evans, President of Alibaba, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.